This is pretty hard, Like I've been here over 20 years, and every day you always find something new. You think that you've nailed it, and you think, "Oh, now I understand Thai culture." You think you understand it, but you never will. Embrace it, accept it, realize that you're in their country, and you got to adapt yourself. Yeah, my darkest moment was my wife and I. Got divorced, and it was the whole process. It was horrible. I felt so alone. I felt so lonely. I was just alone. And then the immigration gave me a stamp in my passport because I was on the marriage visa. You got 1 week to leave the country. Try to make my life here. I've got a 5-year-old daughter. Like I felt like I got thrown underneath the bus.
What's the story, everybody? Pete here from Thairish Times, back again for another video. So I've interviewed my guest today. I've interviewed him already on the channel. I've interviewed him about the tsunami. His name is Ben from England, and he's been in Thailand over 20 years, a long time, and he's got a lot to say. In this video, he's going to talk about his job. What has he been doing for work in Thailand for 20 years? Because he's only in his 40s. And he was in Thailand when he was, I think, 20, which is very, very young to start off in Thailand. But that's his story, so it's interesting. He was involved in the diving industry. He sold diving equipment. He was an operations manager for high-end yacht charters. He managed a marina. He's currently owns a travel company. So he's going to talk about running a business, multiple businesses as a foreigner in Thailand. What's that like? What's it like managing Thai staff? How is it adapting to Thai culture? Is it easy or difficult to adapt to Thai culture? Can you ever really adapt to Thai culture? And then he's going to talk about his darkest moment in Thailand, where his ex-wife's family was preventing him from seeing his child, which is very, very tricky, sad situation. So he'll talk about that in the video. So I hope you enjoyed the video, folks. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about it down below in the comment section. Cheers. Let's get straight into it. Well, Ben, look, thanks for coming on again. We did the first interview with you about the tsunami, and you told your story and your experiences there. I'll link that video below if anyone wants to see it. And then in this video, you've been in Thailand over 20 years, so I thought like it's a good idea to maybe capture that side of your story as well. I'm sure you have interesting stories and experiences to share about that period of your life, 20 years in Thailand. So let's go back to the very start. How did you actually move to Thailand? Tell us that part of your life.
Well, that part of my life was I was at university, and I didn't actually pass the university. I tried it for 1 year. I dropped out, tried again, did the whole year. They said that I couldn't go through to the second year. I'd have to go back to the beginning. So I was just like, right, I need to go traveling. I need to go out and travel around Asia, travel around Australia, and see what's out there and see how everyone's living life. And then I met all these expats living there, working in hospitality, management jobs, and just been living in Asia or in Australia for like years. And I was just like, why do I need to go to university? Let me try to do this. I'll try to go and actually do something. And so I basically was traveling around Australia and Asia in 2002. And then I made my mind up, went back to England. I was doing some of my dive masters training while I was in Australia and Asia. I went back to England and finished my dive masters. I did some practical in the Red Sea with my dad. And then I applied for a job, and within 2 weeks, I got a job in Pattaya. And that was it. I was off in Pattaya.
What was that like? You must have been a handsome man back then, 21 years old.
I still am, don't you think?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Few,
you're still
few
holding your
grey
looks.
hairs.
But 21 in Pattaya. What's going on?
That was a bit messy, yeah. It's long stories, but I think that should be on the video. But anyway,
I was supposed to probe you now and say, come on, you have to tell us one story.
no, but yeah. So I basically went to Batai, and then the reason why I just stayed here was because my career progressed. I come here as a dive master in Thailand over 20 years ago, and then I got a job as marina manager, operations manager, marina manager for two marinas, consulting in building a marina in Bangkok. That's when I met you. Selling diving equipment for dive supplies for Southern Thailand as a sales rep, and just my career progressed, got further and further without the university qualifications, doing really middle management jobs, and I just ended up staying here. I got married, I had
Hold on, you're
children.
gonna blast
I've
through your whole story there. Hold on, we have to stop you because you're gonna summarize your whole story. You won't even have a video.
got,
All right, so you
I've
don't
got
want to get into the patio side of things because I mean, I'd say okay, let's answer me this. 21, you're a young lad there, and it is what it is. The city of sin. Was it a wild experience?
yeah, it was a hell of an experience. I was just young, working as a dive master. All the ladies after me, yeah, it was just amazing. It was a great
And
place.
what was a typical day like for you then at that like 21, 22 there? You'd wake up what time? You get on the boat. What would you do? Like, what's your day
Yeah,
like?
yeah, it'd probably wake up at like 6 in the morning, go down to the pier, load all the tanks on the boat, go out diving, come do like 2 dives in the day, and then come back to the land, clean the equipment, and then of course going out for a couple of drinks and seeing the nightlife, and then carrying on the next day.
Were you getting much sleep?
Oh, for sure, I have to. We always had a golden rule as diving instructors. By 12 o'clock, you're in bed.
Okay.
Like Cinderella, you've got to be in bed by 12 o'clock.
And what was the money like then? Was there
Uh,
good money to be
enough,
made, or was it just kind of just enough to survive?
enough to survive, basically. That's why I had to get out of the diving and do the middle management jobs.
And
So that's
what
why
were
I've
the middle
moved.
management jobs?
I was working for Dive Supply, selling diving equipment for southern Thailand, which was good money, driving all around southern Thailand, selling diving equipment. I was also operations manager for Asia Marine, which was all yacht charters, high-end yacht charters. And then I was also a marina manager for two marinas, Krabi Boat Lagoon and Royal Phuket Marina.
When you say you were involved in charting yachts, what are the clients like there? Were they mega rich?
Oh no, high end, they would pay like 150,000 baht for 1 day charter. These
Wow.
were like high-end boats, high-end boats, like super luxury yachts, paying like big money, 150,000 baht a day. Like they had lots of money, these clients.
And then what are you doing now? Because when I met you in Bangkok, you were building a marina. You weren't you involved in the construction of a marina somewhere near Bangkok?
Yeah, I was in constructing the marina up in Bangkok, and I did that. It was only in a 1 year contract to get everything up and running, doing like SOPs for all the staff and getting all the staff and planning of the building of the sheds, the boat sheds, getting the right tractor to be able to pull up a 14-ton boat. It was only for like a 1 year contract in just setting the marina up.
Okay. And how's that going for you now? Are you still doing that?
No, that's the reason why we left. I left Bangkok to come back down to Phuket to concentrate on the travel business and the magazine we've got.
Okay. So okay, tell us about that. You're in Phuket now. What kind of business are you doing these days?
Yeah, so basically, my wife and I we've got two businesses. We've got a travel company, so we do all the travel needs for expats coming to Thailand and foreigners coming to Thailand. We can arrange hotels, we can arrange day trips, we can arrange yacht trips, we can arrange basically all the needs that they need for Thailand. We can arrange any travel need they need.
And how's business going for you?
We opened the business just after COVID. So now we've got low season in Phuket, but it's not just Phuket we concentrate on. We also concentrate up all around Thailand, like in Chiang Mai and also Bangkok and southern Thailand, so we can adapt to the seasons. So the business is going pretty well. We've still got some repeat customers, a good client base that always come to us anyway.
And a fair play to you being an entrepreneur in Thailand. It's certainly not, and being a foreigner as well. It's certainly not easy. What's been, your highlight of your career so far?
Probably the magazine we got, the Thailand Marine Guide, which has been around for over 20 years. My wife took over the magazine. This must have been about 8 years ago. She took over the magazine. We had sitting down and having a chat, and I said, "Well, why don't we do it all around Thailand? It was only Phuket Marine Guide, but let's include Bangkok. Let's include all the marinas, and let's just do it all around Thailand." And this was a real highlight of Thailand Marine Guide was when we went to the boat shows, the big yacht shows in Phuket. We put the magazine out there and we got really good feedback from the magazine. People were really interested. We got the magazine in France. In France, one of my wife's friends is in the yachting industry and she went to France. She went to Monaco. There was a yacht show there and Thailand Marine Guide was there.
And how do you find running a business in Thailand as a foreigner, going through the legal loopholes and bureaucracy and just generally being a foreigner running a business?
It's pretty. It's you just got to do it with the right person. You got to do it with the right person. And as my business partner is my wife, she's very into all the legal things. She's the one that does my work permit for me too. So when I'm out on the boats diving or taking the clients from the travel company, she's got my work permit all under control. So yeah, she's got all the connections with everyone, with the Labour office and everything. So it's pretty much. As long as you do everything by the book and keep everything in right and pay your taxes on time and keep all the paperwork on top and don't try to fiddle anything, then yeah, it's fine.
Was there any part of your career where you're like, oh, this business is struggling, I might have to pull the plug on it, or you're
Um,
stressed out with management or whatever? Any kind of part of that where it was a real low point for you?
well, every day is you always there's always a low point of every day when you have your own business. There's always the low point of when you've got the competition, like someone else setting up the same sort of thing that you're doing, but in a different way. They've got something new. They'll be at the yacht show going around promoting their new product. Of course, they get more interest, because it's new. But so yeah, you just got to fight through those times, and also having competition keeps you on your feet. You're never falling asleep if there's competition going around. You know what's going on. You've got to just keep on following up your clients and make sure you don't lose them and you know what I mean with the so yeah, every day is a hard day and it's there hasn't really been the low point. It's just always just been keeping on your feet, keeping on your feet. But yeah, well, obviously competition is when that comes in. It's like, oh well, this guy's come up, this guy's come up, this guy's come up. Oh, how are we going to do this? Oh,
And how
but
do the
yeah,
Thais view you? Are there businesses that are just solely Thai owned? There's no foreigners involved in them, and then they might view you as like, this guy's coming in, he's a foreigner coming in, and he's in our
to be honest,
country taking our jobs.
to be honest, most of the competition is like a mix of Thais and foreigners. And for our business, because I've got a Thai wife and wife's Thai, it's not really we're sort of working together. We sort of help each other out, and yeah, there's no backstabbing or anything like that really. So that issue hasn't really been a problem for me, to be honest.
Okay. What about backhanders? Do you ever have to give a backhander here and there to get something sorted?
Um, no, it's all good. Not really.
I'll just say, everyone read between the lines on that one. Okay.
Not really.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah,
They can read through the lines.
just
They'll know.
like this, that's how they come.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about like, more off the business and more about your life. Cost of living compared to, when
Well,
you first went over there in 2002 would have been incredibly cheap. How's, the difference
it,
now? How you find it?
oh, it was crazy. It was like when I first come here, it was £1 was like 80 baht. Thailand was so cheap then you're going out for meals, for everything, traveling around, airfares, 80 baht to the pound. And now the baht's got really strong and it's like 41 baht or something now to the pound. So yeah, it's basically doubled in price. So Thailand's got more expensive now and there's more expats coming here and there's more like foreign Farang restaurants opening up, so they're going to put the Farang price. So yeah, but you can still always find the cheap places to eat, they like the noodle soups, the 30, 40 baht, you still can
What
find the right places to do eat.
What's the word from tourists? Like, you're meeting tourists all the time. Are you hearing them complain about the prices of flights? Are you hearing them complain about the cost of the hotels? Like, what's the the common complaint you're hearing from tourists in Phuket?
Yeah, to be honest, the common complaints from tourists is the flights. The flights, because the flights have gone up really a lot from back in the day.
Yeah, they've nearly
Back in the
doubled.
day, yeah,
They've
nearly
nearly doubled
doubled.
in some parts of the year. They've doubled. I used to
Yeah,
get a
like,
flight 600 return euro, 600 euro Dublin, Bangkok, Dublin, and that was 600 maybe 10 years ago, and now it's 1200.
oh, for sure, yeah, yeah. So that's really what people complain about is the flights. But once you get here and you go to the right places and you go off the beaten track and you go to the not the so much the tourist places, and you can find the cheap places and find the old school prices, the old school Thailand, and yeah. So the only thing really people complain about is the flights, to be honest.
What about adapting to Thai culture? Now, I know you're in Phuket and your business is dealing with tourists, so you could be more detached from the culture than expats living in other parts of Thailand.
Yeah.
How do you like have you adapted to Thai culture in any way?
This is pretty hard, Like I've been here over 20 years, and every day you always find something new. You think that you've nailed it, and you think, oh, now I understand Thai culture. You think you understand it, but you never will. It's you just got to. This is a different way of life for the Thais and us. The way they work, the way we work. So the only way you can deal with it and to have a nice life, it's just basically embrace it, accept it, realize that you're in their country, and you got to adapt yourself. You got to change yourself to their culture. Do you know what I mean?
And how have you changed being a 20-year-old English bloke in Thailand to how you are now in your 40s?
Yeah, a lot more calmer and a lot more understanding and a lot more understanding their culture, and I just let it be. I embrace their culture, embrace the way they do things, and get amongst it and get involved with it, even though I might think it's not right. It's the land of smiles. You just smile, yeah, and just carry on and let it be.
Do you find it hard to, like you said, the land of smiles, smile and let it be? Do you find it hard sometimes if you manage staff and the whole face saving issue and you might not get
Oh,
honest answers because of all of that?
yeah, no, that was pretty much of a nightmare. Yeah, that was definitely when I was working in the middle management jobs when I was running the marinas in Phuket and Krabi. I had like 40 staff, and then yeah, that was hard. I had to bite my tongue sometimes, and just like you just had to walk away and just let them deal with it. And then I'd have to go to HR and then get HR involved and do it through that channel.
You couldn't just sack them on the spot, no?
No, I couldn't. I have to follow the Thai law, and that's why sometimes I'll try to resolve the problem myself. But then sometimes I would have to go to HR, and say, okay, I've got a problem with this guy. So then we had to follow the procedure of the Thai law, which is they get 3 warnings and then we can actually sack them. So then I had to sort of keep a log. It was quite frustrating, I'll keep a log. I'll be all right, strike one, strike two, strike three. And then it'd be like, okay, meeting with HR. And I'll just go, okay, this is what you've done on this day, this date, this day. Um, and then HR will go, well, I've got no choice. I've got to sack you, and the HR always tie anyway. So then you're sort of brought out of it as the foreigner. Then it's the tie on tie. So you're not actually sacking them, but you've got the HR, the tie, which is actually sacking them.
And how did they
So
take that? Because I mean, I know, in Dublin, I have friends that work in construction and
yeah,
I remember there's a story going around. One of my friends, a friend of a friend, got sacked, and he picked up a hammer and in a couple of strikes of the hammer was able to like seriously cause a lot of damage on a building site. Hit a solar panel, this solar panel. Did you ever have, and you have
yeah.
boats and stuff like that? Someone got sacked and they decided, right, I'm going to sabotage the boat or anything. Has that ever happened to you?
That never happened to me, but I heard stories about that too. There was like other managers, expat managers that would have their cars keyed, someone's key the car, scratch, put the scratch down the car, or they'd finish work and the tires would be flat, and it's obviously who he's got a problem with his staff, and yeah, these things did happen. But I was quite lucky that it didn't happen to me. I always had like a wingman close to me. I always had a Thai person who I kept very close to me. So I kept him on my side. I had to do it this way, keep him on my side, and then he would be like my. If I did have a problem with a staff member, then he would be my in between, and then that staff member wouldn't give me crap. So I
Okay.
had to play it a bit tactically.
How old are your kids?
I've got a 19-year-old daughter from my previous marriage. She's up in Bangkok at the moment. She's studying university and she's studying aviation business. So hopefully that's going to get me flying around the world for free. Fair
Business
play to
class.
her.
First class.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, all private jet. That's a fair play to her. She's up in Bangkok. She's been up in Bangkok for about 6 months now. Um, that's from my previous marriage. Yeah, from Koh Samui. And I've got a son he's nearly 3. He's
Okay.
nearly 3 years old, and
And
that's
what's
with
the
my
plan with
wife.
him? Would you like what about schooling? Do you, is it you send your kids to international schools? And if you do, well, what kind of prices were you paying?
What I'm doing is I'm sending my son's at nursery at the moment, so I'm going to send my son to it's a it's in between an international school and a local
Like
school.
government
So
school,
it's
yeah. Public school.
government school. It's in between. It's higher than the government school, but not international school, but at better standards than the government schools. And that pays, it's about, I need to double check it again, but I think it's like a 60,000 baht a term. They have 2 terms, so I think it's going to be like 120,000 baht for the year. But this is a lot better than, um, like, let's say Phuket, um, British International School in Phuket. You know how much they want? They want like 1.2 million baht a year.
1.2 million a year. That's more
Hey,
expensive than
seriously,
Ireland.
yeah, no, seriously, the same as these private schools in Thailand. They're through the roof, ridiculous. Like 1.2 million. Like all these proper international schools are the same as like a hotel, same as the hospitals. These hospitals and international schools are just like it's daylight robbery. 1.2 million baht a year for to send
Yeah.
your son to school.
It would be a
That's like
game
nearly,
changer for me. I always thought about that. If I ever had a kid in Thailand, I'd nearly always move back to Ireland for the kids' education because the government schools in Ireland, the public schools in Ireland are are really good. I mean, we have some we're like top 10 in the world for education, is the level of education, and that's public schools. I mean, 90% of people in Ireland go to a public school. The mega rich
hmm.
do go to private schools, but when you compare the grades at the end, they're on par with the public schools pretty much.
Oh, for sure. And that's why I see that's why I see it as Thailand. In Thailand, that's why I'm not sending my son to these 1.2 million baht schools. I found one which is in between, which isn't bad. 120,000 baht for the year, and these the children that go to these schools would get the same grades as someone, or even better grades than someone that are going to the international school paying 1.2 million baht. So yeah, but
That's
you can.
extortionate.
I know it's daylight robbery for sure. It's like, but these places are like proper, like they've got proper swimming pools, like the buildings are all like hotels, like 5 star, and it's like, come on, man, what I'm paying the school fees for what? For your building, you
Yeah,
know?
that's what it is. Yeah. And
Yeah, for your
I'd
building.
question the standard of the international school teachers. Now, I'm not saying that they'd be bad, but like if you're an international, if you got a degree in education and you want to make money, you're going to Dubai, you're going to the Middle East. You're not, are you going to Thailand to make money? You're going to Thailand for the lifestyle more than making
But
money.
to be, but to be honest, I know a lot of international teachers, and they do earn good money in Thailand. They're all the international teachers at these schools are on like 100,000 baht plus. for
Yeah,
sure.
but wouldn't they be on more than that tax free in the Middle East? Wouldn't it be a bit nearly
Actually,
200,000, wouldn't it?
I suppose so. If you're thinking about that tax free in Dubai or Middle East, yeah, probably.
That's
Yeah.
what I know. That's what they do in Ireland. They go over there and they work there for 3 or 4 years, and they come back and they buy a house mortgage free, which is be very,
Yeah.
very good to do
Yeah.
if you get the chance. What about like okay? So home is obviously Thailand for you. Then is it? Do you ever consider going back to
Yeah.
the UK?
No, UK will always be my home. UK will always be my home, but Thailand's like my second home. Every time when I go back to the UK, visit families, visit my friends, and then I come back and I ride back in Bangkok or ride back in Phuket. As soon as the plane lands, I feel this warmth in my body. My whole body feels warm. As soon as those plane doors open, and I walk down the stairs, I feel the heat. I just smell the air of Thailand. I'm like, oh, this is great. I feel back at home. I'm all relaxed. So yeah, UK will always be my home, but this is like the feeling that I get when I come back to Thailand. It's just, I love it. I can't, I won't leave this country. Yeah.
Okay, so all right, Ben. So I asked you your most beautiful moment doing business, your most successful moment, your happiest moment doing business or whatever, or in Thailand, your happiest moment in Thailand. What about your darkest moment?
Yeah, my darkest moment was it was when my daughter was 5. I was living in Koh Samui. We, my wife and I, got divorced, and it was the whole process. It was horrible. I went to the district office. I felt so alone. I felt so lonely. I was just alone. I had my friends, but I didn't have really close family. I went into the district office, and my ex-wife, she had a sister there, she had her mum there, and she had the whole fam there, and it's just me. And then we go to the district office, we sit there, and it's like, okay, Thady Cap, sit down here. I sign the piece of paper. Okay, yeah. And then they're like, okay, now you go to immigration. I walk in immigration, yeah. Thady Cap, okay, immigration. And then the immigration give me a stamp in my passport because I was on the marriage visa before. I was on the marriage visa, and then they give me a stamp in my passport and like, you got 1 week to leave the country. I'm like, Jesus, you give me 1 week to leave the country. I've just tried to make my life here. I've got a 5-year-old daughter. Like, I felt like I got thrown underneath the bus. Like literally, like
You felt like you're basically like a you're an alien, non-immigrant.
I'm
Get out.
yeah. Yeah, I felt like an immigrant. It was like basically you got 1 week to leave the country. I'm like, right, so well, I've got my family here, and the diving wasn't doing too well at the time. I was a diving instructor, and the money wasn't too. It's low season. I was just like, Jesus, like, what, right, what I'm gonna do? So the way I handled it was like, I was like, right, okay, right. I think I need to just get out of Thailand for 1 week, get some thinking space. Get out of Thailand for 1 week. My parents were working in Bahrain at the time, so I went to Bahrain. I had a chat with my parents, and there was a guy called Mario, but He passed away about 9 years ago. He's a good friend of mine. He was like a brother. He always looked after me. So I was in Bahrain, and this Mario guy sent me a WhatsApp and said, "Hey Ben, I've got a job for you in PP. You want to come back to Thailand and make a new start and come PP?" So yeah, I like took that up. Went back to PP. He got me a job. I got the visa. I got the visa from the company. Everything was all happy days. And yeah, like I've said before in the last video, it's all about what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and always have positive views every day. And that was the best thing that happened to me. Was like it went from the darkest moment to feeling like an immigrant, going, "Shit, Jesus, what am I doing with my life?" To actually come back and get to where I wanted, get me back in Thailand where I wanted to be.
Yeah, man. Well done. Congrats. Yeah,
So
you went through a dark period and you came out the other end. Not that many people do that, you know. Fair play.
that's it. Yeah, I went Bahrain and come back, and then it just opened a new door. If it wasn't for Mario, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know where I'd be today, but that it was like a door that just opened a new door of my life. And yeah, this was like this was over 10 years ago now. This is probably about 12 years ago now or something.
Hmm.
I've never looked back. That was just the door opening to where I am now, you know.
Well, sometimes you have to go through a dark period to see the light at the other end, you know?
Like I said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and it just for sure it needed it. And now I'm happily married, you know. We spoke about my daughter, about my son, happily married with my wife, Joy from Phuket. We're business partners, got two businesses rolling. I do scuba diving sometimes. So yeah, it's all happy days, really.
Can I ask how did the marriage break up? Like what ended the marriage?
Wasn't the right lady, and it was too much of a culture clash, and yeah, it just she wouldn't accept any of the Western way, and I got invaded by the whole family. You know, I know, yeah, you know what I mean. The whole family started coming over to the house in Samui. I built the house on the mainland in Suratani, but then all the family would come to our house in Samui, and I was thinking. That's why built a house for you in the mainland, a nicer house, so you stay there more often. But it didn't actually work that way. They kept on always coming over, and it's just yeah. And after 6 years, it was just like that. Enough's enough.
So six
So
years. So you would have got married after you would have met her. You were only a couple of years in Thailand when you got married, then, were you?
yeah, I rushed into it a little bit. Yeah, you should check it out. Check the boxes before you go rushing into stuff like
Yeah, don't
this.
rush
But
into anything. Yeah, take your time. And would you know
yeah.
where she is now? What she's doing these days?
um. Nah, not really. I don't. I didn't speak to her for related to my daughter's issues and just checking where my daughter is. And yeah, but now my daughter's now 19, so I don't really have to speak to her anymore. Just directly speaking to my daughter. And
And
yeah,
did you
she. I
take
don't.
so your daughter lived with you then? You had custody of your
No,
daughter.
no. My daughter was always living with her mum in Samui, but she would always fly over to Phuket and come and see me in Phuket. And when I was working in Bangkok, she'd come up to Bangkok, and now she's at university, so she's flown down to Phuket a few times. So yeah, so that's not a problem. It was quite hard at the beginning when we first separated. My wife had custody, but I kept on making the point of going to see her all the time, going across to Samui or getting her to come to Phuket or getting her to come to Bangkok, and yeah, there was always a solution, always a way.
And did your ex ever try and prevent you from seeing her?
Oh yeah, a few. Well, it wasn't really the ex, it was the ex mother-in-law. You know, I went across to Suratani one day. I was like, I want to go and see my daughter, and this is the house that I built for them. You know, and then I was with a girlfriend at the time, and but we've been separated for over 2 years now. It's over 2 years, so I think that's fair enough. It wasn't really a problem if I did bring my girlfriend at the time, you know. So I drove across there. I'm like, oh, can I go and see my daughter? The ex-mother-in-law comes out of the house, speaks to my girlfriend at the time. Oh, this is not Ben's house. Ben cannot see Millie. And I went fuming, man. I just drove all the way from Phuket to Suratani to literally turn around and drive all the way back to Phuket. I was fuming.
And how did
So,
you what happened then? Like, did you go through custody, a battle in court, or how did it work if you wanted to see your kid?
well, no, I just lay the law down. I just spoke to my ex-wife and I said, this can never happen again. Like, I'm planning. This is when I'm coming to see my daughter. You cannot tell your mum to, it's no, you know. You cannot tell your mum that I cannot see my daughter. I said, we're going to plan and these are the dates I'm going to come and this is the way it's going to work. And she agreed and the ex-mother-in-law backed off. So, yeah, I got there in the end. But it's Thailand, you know. That's what
Yeah,
always happens.
I mean, yeah, well, and it could be. I mean, she could have used the kid as a tool, as a game between you and her to create
No,
friction, your ex. Yeah, it's a tricky situation, yeah. Very tricky.
but it was bad for about like we separated when my daughter was 5. It was good for 4 or 5 years, but as soon as she was 10 and she started getting her own mind and everything, it was all great. It was all happy days, you know. She was always so happy to see me, and there was no problems. I'd call the phone, you know, and say, "Can I speak to my daughter?" You know, it'd be fine. It was
Yeah,
good
for
in
well,
the
fair
end.
play to you for staying in there. I mean, yeah, and those are the critical years, isn't it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, when the kid
Right.
forms their identity and then knows who their father is, and you have to be around for those years. If you're not around for those years, it'll be a lot harder when she was 10 or 11 to form a strong
Oh, for
bond.
sure. Yeah, 5 years to 10 years old for sure. Yeah. That's when you need to be there. So that's why I was fighting and doing some miles, you know, keeping driving Phuket, Samui. I was working in Bangkok, Samui. Just around the whole country.
Man, fair play to you. Good dad. That's what you need to be, a good father, yeah.
But it's worth it.
Yeah, fair play. What's your take on the expat community then? Do you find is it a strong community? Is it fragmented, segmented? How do you find it?
In Phuket and Bangkok, it's very strong community. Like everything is, all the expats are working together, helping each other out. I'm I mentioned on the email we've got a very good friend of mine. He's called Hugo. He's a boat captain, so he delivers boats all around Thailand and down to Maldives, just all around the world basically. And 6 months ago, he was it was sailing the boat down from Pattaya, and he was coming round to Phuket, and they stopped in Hue Hin, and he was in the engine room, and he just turned the generator on, and there was a massive explosion, and he basically got 85% of his body was burnt. The temperature of the fire was 2000 to 2500 degrees. He he This happened, yeah, about 4 months ago. He's just walking now. He just can walk for like 10. He can stand up and walk just like steps. For like 10 minutes. He was really seriously injured. He's in Hue Hin Hospital now. We're trying to get donations and money for him to get back to South Africa because he's got no insurance and the hospital bills are through the roof, and it was crazy. It's just basically crazy explosion in the engine room. It just went bang. His whole body. He was only wearing nylon shorts on. And his whole body, 85% burns. You know,
And you mentioned there no insurance.
there's no insurance.
So I
And
mean that's be a lesson to people. Get insurance, people. Have
uh,
insurance. Or else have a
for
lot of
sure,
money in the bank.
yeah. So the expat community is very tight here, and we did a fundraising event. Everyone got together, all the local community, a fundraising event, and we raised some money there, and everyone gave donations, so that helped quite a lot.
Do you know how
But
much was raised?
it was, I think, it was 300,000 baht was raised.
And does that cover his
No, but
bills?
his hospital bills are like 2 million baht at the last count, 2 million baht, and everyone's donated stuff.
And
So
what
it's
happens
quite.
then if he owes 2 million back? Do they keep giving him treatment, or if he's no way to
Um,
pay, what happens there?
well, he's got lots of friends that have helped him out in donations and fundraising events, and yeah, we've raised about 1.5 million baht so far too from donations and friends. He's a very respectful man,
Oh, so
and
1.5 was raised.
yeah, so
Yeah.
altogether we've raised about 1.5. And there's just a little shout out I can give on this video if you don't mind. If anyone's watching this and wants to donate anything to my friend Hugo to help him out, maybe they can contact you and put a
I'll tell
donation
you what I'll do.
to.
I'll put the link in the description. You send me the link and I'll put it in the description. He must be well liked. Is he?
Oh,
If
he's a
that
top
shows
guy.
if the people around can raise that money for him. Obviously
Yeah.
it stands that he must be well liked in the community.
Oh, he's a top guy. Yeah, he's a top guy. Very good guy. And yeah, he's a survivor. He's like we're very tight. We're all surviving here. All the expats in Thailand, we always stick together, survive, and he's a survivor for sure. So that'd be yeah. Thanks a lot, much appreciated. Get the link from. I'll get the link from
Yeah, just send me
his
the link. I'll put it in the description. Yeah, no bother.
yeah,
And then
cool. All right.
people can do their research on it then.
Yeah, cool.
Um,
Get the link. Yeah, no
do you know? I
worries.
mean,
Cheers.
like it is. I mean, it is something that I think about, like insurance. I did go some periods of my time in Thailand with no insurance, and I think, what was I doing? When I look
I know
back on it, just
insurance.
being young and stupid.
Yeah, you need insurance for sure.
Yeah, because if something like that happens, especially in the work, that kind of work where there is a high risk. But I'm sure your insurance premium, like your insurance premium, would be high, wouldn't it? Because it's high. You're high risk. You're diving.
For my insurance for diving, I have Dan Professional Insurance, which is Pacific Insurance for diving, and then on land I have my private insurance too, and then I have the social for the hospital. So I'm pretty much covered.
Yeah, like diving, it is an interesting career. I've met a couple of different people that have done it in Thailand, and there was one guy that did it, and he told me some crazy story, and it kind of scared me from ever doing diving. But he said that he was a diving instructor, and he took some guy down, with him, and they went into they went in through the ship. It was like a shipwrecked ship at the bottom of the ocean or whatever, and they went into it, and it was a real tight, confined space, and they went into the bow of the ship, and one of the guys that was with him, he wasn't that experienced, and he panicked, and he went down to the bottom of the bow, and he silted up the room, and then they couldn't find a way out, and they were losing oxygen, and they were really worried, and then they just got out just in time before they ran out of oxygen, like out of the hole. There was one
Yeah,
entrance in, silted up, they couldn't
yeah,
see. My friend said he had like, the way you wear a watch or whatever. He said, like, even if he put the watch
yeah,
up to his eye, he
diving. What's
couldn't
it?
see anything.
Because all the silt and everything. Yeah, it is quite mad like that. But also with the diving, it's just like with safety precautions. What they maybe should have had, they should have maybe had a line where they actually entered the wreck. They had the line, and then the line would go round with them. And then when they want to come out, so when they got stuck in the bow of the boat, then they could follow the line to come back out, you know?
Well, Ben, look, we'll leave it there, man. It was an incredible interview. Thanks very much. You're a nice fella, and I hope everything works out for you.
Yeah, it's all good. I just want to say a few things to people like all around who's listening to the videos. With life in Thailand and in general, the only way to stay here is always think what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Whatever you go through, just keep on going. Keep the positive views, and you always will get there in the end.
Man,
You
well
know,
said. Well said.
and also just another thing, maybe we'll run out of time now, but I've got another experience that you'd like to hear. It's basically when I was working in Chiang Rai, I was the elephant camp manager for the Anatara Hotel. Yeah. And I got chased by this 4-ton elephant. But there's a long story.
I'll tell you what we'll do, right? We'll leave it a couple of months, say 3 months, right? And what
Yeah.
we'll do is we'll put it down in the comment section for the viewers. What else would you like? Because obviously we're getting great in expat knowledge here from yourself. So put it down in the comment section. We'll add that story into the next video, and then we'll also put it to the viewers. They can write comments and questions and topics that you'd like me to bring up in the next interview with you, and then we can go from there. So then the viewers can help us with the content and get questions answered that they'd like to know. All right,
All right. That,
sounds
that
good.
sounds good.
Ben,
Take care,
take it
man.
easy, man. Take it easy. Nice talking
Yeah.
to you. Best of luck. All right. We'll chat soon.